We are live from the Contractors Edge booth, sponsored by our friends at Foundation Rescue Supply. We're sitting with Myriam from Atmox. Super excited to hear what's going on. I know you just taught a class, so I definitely want to hear more about that.
Well, so it's fresh on my mind. You may talk to you guys or
you can talk to
anybody who talk to the camera.
Yeah.
So I just got out of the class teaching understanding crawl space science, and it was kind of cool to have a nice attendance group. People engaged from all over the country, from like West Coast all the way to the Southeast and everything in between. It's always interesting to hear the dialogue they all have with each other. But the focus of the class was really a lot about air distribution and air exchange and things that people aren't necessarily thinking about in the crawl space, because we're so focused on just the word encapsulation and closing it up. And got to talk a lot about recognizing that the dehumidifier is sort of the workhorse of the moisture control portion of having that dehumidifier extract out that moisture, pull out the water and so forth. But then recognizing that, we've got to make sure we get all of those different pockets and corners, and using some fans to kind of move that air and circulate it out. Or if we've got an addition or another section, it's really interesting to see everyone's reactions, and the light bulbs always go off. Oh yeah, most of these crawl spaces aren't really 4 feet high and perfect rectangles, and how can we address that? And we're dealing with 18 inches and so forth. So that was sort of the first part of the class, and then the other part was recognizing the need for an air exchange. And that's the part that people are sometimes like, well, wait a second. I thought we wanted to close everything off. Right.
Yeah. So that's what I was taught for the longest time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you taught us it and I encourage everyone that's, watching this now, go back and watch. We had you on a full episode on Contractors Edge, and you it was like being with the professor. You opened our eyes, taught us so much, because I was taught a different way of doing it.
Right.
And what you taught us, I'm like, wow, it makes a bit of sense there. So.
It's definitely one of those puzzle piece moments where it's like, oh, yeah, it's a light bulb.
It's a light bulb. And so I think the key on the air exchange that I think people forget is, let's just use common sense, right? You've got rooms in your house.
Yes.
And you don't really want them to stay closed all the time. I've got a closet like that I never really use. And I open it, I'm like, oh, it kind of smells musty. Or you go on vacation for a few weeks. If you're gone long enough, you come back and you're like, wait, the house kind of smells funny. And it's just because it's stagnant. And the only real easy way to get that stagnant air out is through an air exchange. Like, we know this, intuitively we know this. And so recognizing that, if a big portion or some portion of the air in the crawl space is coming up, into the house, we all talk about the stack effect, right? Everyone loves those stacks on the stack effect and how the air is coming up into the space. Well, with that, we have to recognize that, we don't want that stagnant air in the crawl space. We've got to figure out how to exchange it. And there's a couple different methods and ways to do that I've talked about in the class. There's a couple different ways. And of course, the one that, I believe in is, of course, using an Atmox system.
Right.
Of course, I know it's going to be a little biased. I didn't necessarily talk about that in the class so much, but a little bit biased on that. But recognizing that we want to use the outside air when it's beneficial. Right. And so what does that mean? And for us, it's really, when can that air be beneficial from a drying standpoint? First and foremost. So we're looking at dew point comparisons. Nobody else really does that. People will look at humidity and not, we don't have time to go through that whole lesson.
That's how we did it.
We watched the long form.
We're going to skip over that whole lesson, but just take my word for it. Dew point is important and you need to compare it.
Yeah.
And recognizing that when we've got that ability to look at that, we can verify that outside air is drier and know that it's going to make that air, exchange beneficial from a moisture standpoint. And then the secondary part, of course, is that air quality, that stagnant portion that we talked about.
Yes.
Obviously, dehumidifiers help with filtration. That's a component of it that helps. But fundamentally, the only way to really improve it is to get that air exchange. And so that's where the fans come in. We usually have them on louver, so when they're not running, it's a closed space. System determines that it's a good day to run some air through there, and we get that full air exchange. And either use it just for an air exchange or to minimize the use of the dehumidifier because it's more powerful, because the air might be actually drier than the dehumidifier can achieve that day, uses less energy. And then the other component in all of that, whether it's ventilation or dehumidification, is that air distribution part that I just mentioned of using circulation fans to kind of spread that airflow out.
So that's what I loved when you were, educating us on the podcast last time.
You guys got deep.
And just to talk about the system a little bit, I like that it's more of like a triage of what is the best way that the system can achieve the outcome that you need in the environment.
Right.
And so if it's a like really cool, dry day, maybe we just need to cycle some air in, right? If it's a very wet and hot day, then we want everything closed off and we want that dehumidifier to do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
And so it's not always best to just run a dehu, you know? And that was eye-opening for me.
I know, me too.
When looking at a full systematic approach to it, it's like, wait, that is how you would do it in an environment that isn't a crawl space, right?
Right. Well, and things have changed over the last several decades, right?
Sure.
Building science keeps changing. We come up with new ideas.
Yep.
In some ways, what we've done is sort of constant, right? We haven't really. We've added new features. We've added, the ability to incorporate dehumidifier in the last. That's been 25 years at this point.
Sure.
Fundamentally, it started as just ventilation only.
Yes.
But in our core, we've always kind of believed the same things of looking at this from a common sense standpoint, looking at it holistically. Let's look at the whole crawl space as part of the house. How is this all going to work together? What is this? What does this look like? What makes sense upstairs sometimes makes sense downstairs. Obviously, the environments are different. Like there's different geographies and all of that. But really, the you mentioned the system. It's really a system of products, and fundamentally, Atmox is about the controller. Like it's really lots of people have fans. I mean, we make great fans, but lots of people make fans. Like a fan is a fan to some level, right? But what really makes Atmox unique is that control set, and it's kind of like having a brain for the crawl space. I mean, that's sort of the easiest way to think about it. Is the system will be set up. It's all automatic once it's there, and it's just constantly taking in information, right? It's taking in information on what's going on, what should we do, and so it's the brain. It's programmed to know what to do, what we kind of intuitively do. I think we talked about this too. Like you intuitively know in your car which day you're going to turn the air conditioning on and which day you're going to roll down your windows.
Right.
Yes.
Right. You know that. The system is doing what you feel and know intuitively. Think of its brain as processing that information. It knows what it wants, what it needs to do at the right times. And so it pulls all those pieces together. And then the other thing that's kind of unique about it is we command the dehumidifier through the system. So we're making sure that it's all integrated. We're not just throwing a dehumidifier in on its own. So we're making sure that all those pieces work together. And then all of the fans connect to the controller via low voltage wiring.
Okay.
So that's also a little bit unique in that you don't have to run an electrical outlet to each fan location.
Okay.
It's a low voltage wiring system similar to landscape lighting wire. So for any contractors, rather, obviously we're at a trade show with contractors, right? The homeowner doesn't maybe care how you got there, right? But the contractors might, because it's very easy once you've got the controller set up to run the low voltage wire to the fan locations. You don't have to drop outlets all over the place. Very energy efficient fans and easy to install because you've got that low voltage setup. So that's something we don't talk about all the time.
Yeah, and that's helpful. And that kind of like sparks a thought for me on the contractor side. I'm sure that they've got questions. What you're talking about is great because it sounds like it's going to improve the home. The homeowner's going to notice a difference. For the contractor, though, how much training goes into this, like for their first system?
Yeah, sure. So we had lots of, those kind of questions actually in the class this morning about training and so forth. So, it's really, it's not much different than throwing in landscape lighting wire, right? You have to go mount some fans. You've got to run the wiring. The hard part in anything in a crawl space is everything really that you do before the Atmox system.
Fair.
Right?
That's very true.
And so, you've got to do the waterproofing correctly.
Right. If you've
got to have a vapor barrier. All of that is way more labor intensive and difficult and backbreaking to do.
Sure.
And unfortunately, you don't get to skip those steps. Like I can't wave the magic wand and go,
install
do
the
mine
system,
instead,
that's
and
going to do it.
you're done, right? Okay, so
work.
you have to do that hard part first. When you get to the Atmox portion, it's really, like I said, it's low voltage wiring. So, I've been in trainings where people are like, oh, this is like speaker wire. Or they get like, you get the techie guy who's like got something going. It's once they, have done it once, they're like, okay, I see how these pieces fit together. It's not all that difficult. It's not really that difficult. Like all things, I tell them, you do anything 3 times, you got to master it. Like, right. It's just sort of the first time you're like, okay, wait a second, I'm confused. I don't remember what to do, what they say. The second time you start getting, slightly better, you're not confused. And the third time you're like on a full efficiency, like, Anthony, you go do that side, Mike, you go do this side. We'll meet over here. We'll be done in 4 hours, right? Like, it gets efficient. You get to that efficiency point.
So how long
we offer training
and I know you're going to say, well, it depends on size of the crawl space, the design of the crawl space. But if we're talking about a typical crawl space, how much time does it take for, the contractor to install this?
So I would say if we're assuming that everything else is done, right? Like the waterproofing is done, the vapor
Right. Yeah.
clear
How
is
much
done,
time is it adding
and
on to
you've
this?
got to add like let's assume they're going to place it, if they're using a dehumidifier, that's placed, you've done the drain line for that, like all of that is done. I would say 2 guys, 4 hours.
Okay. Yeah. And
It's
so
easier with 2 guys. Like it's always, everything's easier with 2 people, right?
Oh, yeah.
Almost everything's easier with 2 people, but it's a 1 day, half a day job if you have 2 people. I mean, if the house is really difficult to crawl in, like you've got to go this way to go that way to get over there.
Yeah,
and you're
like
doing
you've
a
got a
lot of
maze.
crawling.
Yep.
Then of course it's slower. Right?
Sure.
It's slower if you've got, more, but you're typically mounting, 2 fans, like 1 intake, 1 exhaust, 2 to 3 dead space, or we call them, joist mounted fans.
Right.
You're going to mount those, and then you just run the wire. And if you're efficient, you can do it all, in the same trip. But
That's awesome.
that's that third time. Like
Yes.
on the first time, you're like, wait a second, you don't do that on the first time out. But if people get really pretty efficient at it.
That's fantastic. So, I'm curious because I know contractors are going to want to learn more, but what is the easiest way to like get in touch with you? Because I mean, I see you on LinkedIn all the time.
Sure.
You're doing trainings, you're interacting with the contractors, you're answering their questions. Do you like to connect with them there? Do you like to connect with them on your website? So
Well, certainly anyone can reach out to me on LinkedIn. That's, but my name is difficult to spell. So Myriam Breedlove is not the easiest to find potentially.
Sure.
Atmox, of course, is easier. ATMOX is easy. On our website, which is atmox.com, we have, find a distributor forms. So certainly you can fill that out. You can just email us directly. Let us know what you're looking for. Is it training? Is it sales? Is it you're ready to buy products? You want some help? You just want to talk about a crawl space. You're like, I got an oddball one. I want to talk about it. We're happy to do that. So the website and info@atmox.com is probably the easiest, all encompassing. No matter what your problem is, you'll find a way to get to us there.
Yeah, and I'm so glad, I know we've talked about this too, because you're really heavy on the pests. So and now coming into, the foundation repair industry, it's exciting because I knew that it would be so receptive. People would be excited to learn, hey, this is a new type, for us,
new,
it's a new technology. We're not familiar with it. It's something that can actually improve the performance overall, and the homeowner should appreciate it because now the air is better. Everything is well conditioned for the contractor. Hey, they can make some additional money on these tickets.
Well, and they can elevate the service.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's what I said. It's a point of differentiation for, most people. They can add something different. They can convey to the homeowner, look, we're going to look at this whole thing and put all the pieces together. If they tell the story correctly, it's powerful, right?
Yep.
It's powerful.
Well, what's your edge for the audience?
The edge for the
what's your tip?
contractors?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You put me on the spot. I didn't know I was going to have to come with that.
Surprise.
Surprise. Well, I would say, educate the homeowner. It would be first and foremost, become their guide. And then, as you're telling their story, let them show, you show them how much they can trust you because you know what you're doing. And then you'll be able to differentiate your services and you'll win the job every time.
That's fantastic. Myriam, as always, every time we get to spend time together, I feel like I get smarter. So, thank you. And hopefully the audience feels the same way.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thanks for
Thanks for
doing
us.
this. It's fun.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you.